Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of SSP TV Community News featuring Paul Smaglik. He is the Society Director for the Greater Hazleton Astronomical Society, and I'm Ken Cara, an absolute astronomy fanboy. I love it so much. Paul, thank you for coming in and talking to us about this topic. You want to get out there in the community, get more people involved in enjoying the night sky and looking up. I wanted to start, how did you get into this hobby? How did you get into astronomy?
When I was about 12 years old, my mother and father, they bought me a cheap telescope from Kmart at the time, and it got me hooked. I was out there as a kid, many cold nights, doing astronomy. So I did that for a couple years as a kid. As I gotten older, life takes you into big enough, different strays, avenues in life. And I finally got back into it probably about 15 years ago, which I had the available time. My kids are all grown. I can have some freedom. So I bought my first telescope, and I started at home, get familiar with the night sky. And then I was looking for astronomy clubs. But I didn't realize that Hazleton had its own astronomy club, and I thought, oh, this is cool.
There's such a thirst out there, though, I think, for people. You see an event like an eclipse happen last year or something, and you see how people get interested in this. I think sometimes, though, then once they dive a little bit deeper into the hobby, it can get a little intimidating. Like people hearing you talking about, you know, what type of telescope you have and what type of cameras you're using. Right. I think your brain just starts to spin and they think, that's a little too much for me. I'll just read some articles every now and then when it comes out or when something big happens. You would encourage them, hey, come out and check out the society. You could be a beginner and just start learning, and it's really any path you want to go down in the hobby.
Oh, most definitely. I'm still learning a lot. Well, I always tell people, you don't need a telescope. You don't need a pair of binoculars. All you need to do is just look up. To get in this hobby, you don't need a whole lot of money or anything like this. Just be able to look up in the night sky, go to a dark area in the middle of nowhere, and just look up. There's so many things you can see with your eyes alone. And if you want to learn, come to our club and to our meetings, and we can help you. We got anywhere from people that who are just starting out and learn about the night sky, how to use a star chart, how to use a telescope, how to use a pair of binoculars, and then the big thing now is how to use a smart telescope. So there's telescopes on the market now you could buy for a few $100s. You just throw it on the ground, and it would automatically do what you wanted to do. And you can take pictures very, very easily. I mean, it can go any direction you want. And the most important thing is making the connection with other like minds to learn, and that's our goal. Our goal is to teach people to enjoy the night sky and learn how to view the night sky.
I was out at Cherry Springs Dark Sky Park here in Pennsylvania, and I had my 2 telescopes set up, and I'm an expert in doing all this. And we had my friends' kids with me, and they started asking me questions, and I looked at them like, how did you even think of this? Where did this question come from? You interact with kids a lot. You said you've done some work with the Hazleton Integration Project. What's it like when you're working with kids? What kind of questions do they have? What are they interested in?
Can we look at the sky during the day? And I say, yes, the sun. You can, with the proper equipment, look at the moon. And like they say, a lot of things they get is, what's that big white ball when the sun sets? Little questions like that. And I go, well, that could be 2 things. There could be 3 things. It could be Venus, it could be Mercury, or Jupiter, you know, like that. And I go, oh. But they ask all kind of, you know, interesting questions, you know, and also learn how to manage your expectations. Because you look at a picture from the Hubble telescope and you think, you know, you see this gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous picture, and then you get a telescope and you look at that same object and it's like, that's not what it is supposed to look like.
Let me tell you, can I tell you how many times I've lined up a galaxy for my wife or somebody, and I'm all excited because it took me all night to do this, and they come over and they go, oh, that's it? And I'm like, well, yeah, that's how it is.
That's why I got into astrophotography, because you can see so much more than what your eye can see.
So if you're just a beginner to this, or you're saying, hey, I want to come out to the club, one of the great resources you also have is you have a dark sky site, I believe, out near Weatherly, where if people don't even have a telescope, they could come out there with you in the club and maybe take a look at some of the club's telescopes, or through people who have already set up some stuff.
Oh, most definitely. We encourage that. Even the people who are really experts, much more than me, out there, and they come and do. I'm always going over there to their telescopes and looking. Wow, that's really cool. Actually, a good friend of mine named Jim Waltich, he likes looking at double stars. So he brings out his telescope, and here I'm imaging on my other telescope. I'm over here looking at him, and we're looking at double stars all night. And it's just like we're like two little kids. It's like, oh my God, this is really cool. So it's nice.
If someone is interested, how can they get in touch with you? How can they sign up, or even just come to a meeting, maybe learn more?
Well, we have a website. It's www.ghaas.org, and all our club information is on that particular website. It has all the contact information, has everything you learn about the basics of astronomy. We put some, how to do things. It's a very informative website. We're planning to kind of revamp it, make it a little more current with it this year. There's everything you need to know about astronomy is on our website. I've been pretty thorough on that, and it all starts from the beginner all the way to the advanced. And that's all they need to do. Go to the website. We have our contact information. Please reach out.
A lot of people just aren't familiar with the sky or aren't looking up that much. Right. And when you learn more about it, it opens up a whole new world.
Most definitely. I guess I've always been a dreamer. I've always been a dreamer since I was little, and I always like looking up. I'm just fascinated about the night sky. I even get fascinated just watching clouds moving over. It just opens up a lot of things. And once you get that mentality going, of you and looking up and look at things, when you walk in a forest or you walk into somewhere, you really look at nature in a different light. You see the pretty flowers and how they grow, or you see the insects circling around, pollinating. All that stuff is fascinating. So it really opens a whole new world. And we all get trapped in our work and our activities and home, and our wives are giving us honey-do lists and everything. If everybody just take 5 minutes, take a time out, go outside when it's clear night, and just look up. That's all you need.